Really saving the climate here, AOC, if you're using all of that jet fuel.
Come on. Double standards?
Oh, my goodness. AOC and I have a long history. 5 years ago, when I hinted that I would vote for Trump over Bernie Sanders, she tore me apart. And she's always been a raging hypocrite. Remember a couple years ago, she wore this designer-made dress to the Met Gala at the same time that she's masquerading as a woman of the people. She claims to be a Democratic social...
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, or AOC as most people know her, is one of the most outspoken and controversial figures in American politics. Whether you agree with her or not, there's no denying that she knows how to command attention. But recently, AOC found herself in a heated exchange on live television that did not go the way she expected. She went head-to-head with political commentator Lindi, and what unfolded had people talking non-stop.
On private jets and is wearing a cap in first class because she doesn't want to be recognized. And then Bernie Sanders, I mean, come on, this is a guy who went to communist Russia and purports to be a man of the people, yet he's using the hard-earned money, this hard-working money of everyday Americans around the country to fly private.
The segment started off like any other debate. AOC came in with her usual confidence, ready to defend her views and push back against critics. She's known for fiery speeches, quick comebacks, and a strong online following that always rallies behind her. But this time, things didn't go as smoothly. Lindi, who has built a reputation for being sharp, fearless, and unafraid to challenge big names, wasn't about to let AOC dominate the conversation.
Since I got elected, Republicans have attacked me by saying that I should go back to bartending. But let me tell you, I'm happy to any day of the week because there is nothing wrong with working for a living. Imagine having leaders in the White House who understand that.
Right from the start, Lindi cut through the noise. She wasn't intimidated by AOC's strong presence or her aggressive tone. Instead, she brought facts, data, and a clear perspective that AOC didn't seem ready for. When AOC tried to deflect and use her usual talking points, Lindi pressed harder, refusing to back down.
If my donors had known that in advance, they wouldn't have given. This is just ridiculous. And I'm sorry to say that. Well, every time I criticize something, I can just hear, I can just feel the knives being thrown in my...
One of the key moments came when they clashed over economic policies. AOC repeated her usual arguments about government spending and massive programs, but Lindi pointed out the contradictions and flaws in her statements. She reminded the audience of the real-world consequences that many voters are worried about: rising costs, taxes, and the struggles of working families. AOC tried to interrupt, clearly frustrated, but Lindi didn't miss a beat. She calmly countered every point and made sure her voice was heard.
Because it's like a very insular community, but again, at this point in my life, we're not allowed to curse here, right? I don't care. This is just the right thing to do. But this reminds me of the PPP program through which Kanye got a few $1 million, and I love Tom Brady, but come on, Tom Brady doesn't need taxpayer money. This is just, can you imagine people giving $25 or $50, and it means so much to them.
The energy in the studio shifted quickly. Normally, AOC is the one who takes control of the stage, but this time it was different. Lindi kept her composure while AOC started showing signs of frustration. The Congresswoman's voice grew louder, her tone sharper, and at one point, she even accused Lindi of misrepresenting her ideas. But instead of getting rattled, Lindi fired back with receipts, direct quotes, video clips, and examples that completely undercut AOC's claims.
the only people in this body who has lived off of tips, I want to tell you a little bit about the scam of that text, a little bit of the fine print there. The cap on that is $25,000, while you're jacking up taxes on people who make less than $50,000 across the United States, while taking away their SNAP, while taking away their Medicaid, while kicking them off of the ACA and their healthcare extensions. So if you're at home and you're living off tips...
By now, the audience watching could see that AOC was losing her cool. For someone who usually thrives in debate settings, it was surprising to see her struggle. Lindi Li's arguments were direct and easy to understand, while AOC's responses started to sound defensive and repetitive. The contrast was clear. One woman came prepared to expose the truth, while the other seemed desperate to control the narrative.
Again, you would know this better than anyone else, so why don't you tell us what the hell is going on and how we got here?
You really can't make this shit up. These sorts of things, these boondoggles, that go right into the pockets of consultants, by the way. And it's the same group of people. They move from one campaign to the next. It doesn't matter if they win or lose, they're still going to cash that paycheck. And that's why they had like advertising down here in Ruby.
At one point, Lindi Li even challenged AOC directly by asking her how she plans to justify policies that sound good on paper but fail in practice. The silence after that question spoke volumes. AOC stumbled, tried to pivot, but the damage was already done. People watching at home could sense it. The Congresswoman had been cornered.
That I needed to leave was actually around Christmas Eve, when the chair of the party, he's the biggest clown that the Democratic Party has ever, like, honestly, in recent history, I can't think of a more incompetent boob than this man. And if you just look at him,
it's pretty bad to be an incompetent boob. That's not good. DNC Chair Rob, can you pull up which one are...
Social media lit up immediately after the broadcast. Clips of the showdown spread across platforms like wildfire. Supporters of Lindi Li praised her for standing firm and not being intimidated by AOC's aggressive tactics. Even some viewers who usually side with AOC admitted that she seemed rattled and unprepared this time. The phrase Lindi Li destroys AOC started trending, and for good reason.
Because they don't care if the candidate wins, they're still going to make that dollar. And so they're spending $20 million on some sort of anthropological study of American men. Why don't they actually go out there and meet them?
Yeah, talk to them, get to know them.
What made this exchange so powerful wasn't just that Lindi Li exposed weaknesses in AOC's arguments, it was the way she did it. She stayed calm, clear, and confident, even as AOC tried to turn up the heat. That composure made the difference. People love to see politicians held accountable, and Lindi Li did exactly that on live TV, in front of millions of viewers.
This nonsense from like AOC that he should be impeached is just absurd. Absurd. There's no... Okay, get back to me when you've read the Constitution or get a law degree, because you sound like an absolute fucking idiot. There is absolutely no ground to impeach the president. He 100% was within his constitutional authority and his congressionally authorized authority to do what he did on Saturday. Okay, but as for whether it's a good idea, that's a debate we should be having. And look, you know, if we could get congressional approval of the specific action, fine, I'm okay with that too. If you want to bring it to Congress, go ahead and see how that goes. I don't think it's necessary, but you can go.
AOC is no stranger to criticism, and she'll no doubt spin this moment to her advantage with her loyal followers. But this debate was a reminder that she's not untouchable. When confronted with sharp, factual arguments, even someone as media savvy as AOC can lose control. For Lindi Li, this was a defining moment. She proved that you don't need a massive platform or political office to stand up against powerful figures. All it takes is preparation, courage, and the ability to cut through the noise with truth. And in this case, the truth was loud and clear. AOC wasn't ready for the challenge, and Lindi Li walked away as the clear winner of the night.